Good morning, Needham High. Didn't see you there. I'm Ronan Keene.
And I'm Grace Cohen. Let's jump right in. Grab your popcorn. NHS's winter play, War of World, is performing on February 5th and February 6th at 7 p.m. Furthermore, watch your friends perform virtually at Needham High Acapella Goes Virtual on February 27th at 7 p.m.
February, and you know what that means? It's Black History Month. This year, like last year, NHSN will be honing in on one member from Black history to give a spotlight to every week. This week's member is Claudette Colvin. At just 15 years old, the average age of a ninth grader at NHS, Miss Colvin refused to give up her seat to a white woman on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Her protest inspired activist Rosa Parks, the so-called First Lady of Civil Rights, to do the same later that year. She was arrested, detained, and served as one of the 4 plaintiffs on the Browder versus Gale case, which ruled that segregated buses were unconstitutional, a true maverick in American history. Thank you, Miss Colvin.
In other news, we know everyone faces a lot of days at home. So here's Danny with some fun cooking suggestions. Take it away, Danny.
Do you miss that feeling of going out to a restaurant? Do you want to spice things up in the kitchen? Well, have I got the solution for you? Here's how you can make some fire olive oil dip at home. So first you're going to need some olive oil, some garlic powder, some red pepper flakes, some Italian seasoning, and some salt and pepper. So up first you want to pour in your olive oil, and to that you want to add a teaspoon each of red pepper flakes, Italian seasoning, and garlic powder. You want to mix that all up and add your salt and pepper. However much you want, you decide. It's super easy to make and it's super fun to eat. I highly recommend it. This stuff is delicious with anything. Enjoy!
Wow, thanks, Danny. That looks delicious. Now let's go to Jason for a review of one of my favorite TV shows, Netflix's own Blown Away. Take it away, Jason.
Thanks, guys. Now
While
back
it
to
may
you
be
at
an
the studio.
uncommon hobby, the art of glass blowing now has its own Netflix show. Blown Away is a reality TV competition that follows 10 hand-picked glass blowers in their quest to become the best of the best. Among this group are some of the best glass blowers in the world who have been creating glass and artwork for decades. Each episode is divided into sections. First, the artists design their pieces, then they build their pieces, and finally, their pieces are judged on design, technique, concept, and overall display. Some pieces will turn out amazing, and others will flop. This show is one hell of a ride that is sure to shatter your expectations. Blown Away is an incredibly unique twist on classic competitions, and I highly recommend it to anyone.
Now back to you at the studio.
Thanks, Jason. Now, moving away from at-home activities, let's go to Sophia to kick off sports for today. Here she is with the inside scoop from Mr. Lee.
How was the decision made to have a suspension for all of the sports at once this past week rather than just the ones that had positive COVID cases?
If we go back about a week ago, we started to see some reports of positive cases amongst some of our athletes coming out of the holiday weekend, and we thought that we were able to get our heads around it. And as we got into Tuesday, as we got back to school, and they saw actually some more additional cases and from different sports that we hadn't previously seen, and the school nurses who have been doing a tremendous job and a tremendous amount of work on the contact tracing, as well as the Board of Health, didn't feel like they could get their hands around the full problem. And that was then a discussion with Mr. Seacott about, hey, maybe we need to take a pause for this week where we can see how this plays out. Because as things were starting to get out of control with the amount of cases that we had seen and we've seen in the school over the past couple of weeks, we felt it was in the best interest of not only our athletic program, but the school community as a whole, that we take a pause for last week while we were able to sort things out. We can sort of show that we can do the sport safely. And I feel like the protocols and the safeguards that we have in place are working. And our coaches and athletes are doing a great job while they're at practice or at games, following all those protocols to make sure that we're doing things safely. But what's equally as important is what people are doing when they're not at practice or they're not at games. And no one's doing bad things, but have to be even more conscious of the things they're doing in terms of carpooling to practice. And if you're in a car with some friends without masks on, or if you're just hanging out with a couple friends in a basement, just watching a TV show or watching a game and you don't have masks on, things like that, those are the important things that if we're able to come back and play, that, while we're in the midst of the winter season and as we move into our fall 2 and spring season, that people are conscious of that. But we're just hopeful that with our athletes and families, that it's important for them to be able to finish out these last couple weeks and continue on with the rest of our athletic programming this year.
Thanks so much, Sophia. On the topic of sports, let's go to sports!
Thanks, Ronan. Rockets are getting back into the swing of things, playing Milton this week. Check out our YouTube channels to see live games and past streams. Needham Rockets for basketball and Needham Rockets 2 for hockey. That's all for this week, and as always, stay fly, Rockets.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Well, that's all we have for you this week. See you next time on Student News.